We're going to start with President Trump. Are they ready to call their first witness?
Yes, we would call Kash Patel. To your knowledge, did any senior DOJ leader ever state in words or substance that they felt they needed more or different authorization from President Trump before they could deploy National Guard troops to keep the peace on January 6th?
No.
So why didn't we have 10,000 National Guard troops suited up and armed guarding the Capitol on the morning of January 6th?
There's a multitude of reasons, but namely, step one was a commander-in-chief's authorization, which we had. Step two was a request by the governing body, the local governing body. It's the mayor, since it's Washington, D.C., and or the heads of the Capitol Police Bureau.
And Mr. Patel, I would ask you if you recognize this letter.
I do. It's the letter I referenced from Mayor Bowser, I believe on January 5th, to the Department of Defense, where she specifically stated we would not be requesting any additional National Guards men and women. And that was her letter to us. That was the declination of a request. And so we were on standby.
Did you testify before the January 6th Select Committee?
I did.
Were you questioned in a public hearing?
No, they declined my request for a public hearing.
Was your testimony public when given?
No.
Did you tell them what you've told us today about the president and the deployment of National Guard troops?
I believe so.
Did the committee ever call you to testify about those issues in public session?
No.
Some of the senior officials, people like Kash Patel, apparently not available.
We felt it appropriate that the transcript should be made public at some point, and after months-long negotiations, they refused to do so and publish their final report. And to my memory, it had been excluded. I think on the eve of the dissolution of the committee, my transcript was the last one released.
I have no further questions, sir. Please, sir. Thank you very much.
You called their bluff. And what's shocking to me, because I didn't even really understand this, is that you gave this testimony. Liz Cheney and Kinzinger and you guys, he gave this testimony essentially to J6 and they buried it?
Some of the senior officials, people like Kash Patel, apparently not available.
Point blank. Is your testimony basically one of the key reasons that Jack Smith can't and won't indict President Trump for insurrection?
You know, I believe so. It's the truth. If anyone could have charged President Trump with insurrection, this special counsel, Jack Smith, would have done it.
Opinion at the district level. They have a 52 pages or something around there at the Supreme Court. So that's almost 350 pages. You were acting, I think, chief of staff at the Defense Department. You're a fact witness. You were there. There's not one mention of what you said in defense of Donald Trump, which is very compelling. Your thoughts, sir?
It's an intentional disinformation campaign. I was the first witness subpoenaed by the January 6th committee. I asked for the Capitol Police timeline, Mayor Bowser's letter, and Nancy Pelosi's verbiage rejecting the National Guard that Donald Trump had authorized to be put into the record. The January 6th committee excluded that evidence from the record. Forget the stuff they destroyed. They excluded evidence of innocence that Donald Trump acted lawfully, preemptively to secure the events around January 6th. This Colorado trial judge did the same thing. She wanted nothing to do with the actual facts that Donald Trump days before authorized 10 to 20,000 National Guardsmen and women. That fact alone proves Donald Trump is not an insurrectionist, came nowhere near it, in fact, was the opposite, and actually tried to prevent any sort of rioting or misbehavior in and around January 6th. And the people that egged on an insurrection were the likes of Pelosi and Bowser, who refused the security. And this judge excluding intentionally evidence of innocence is basically Russiagate 2.0 in the Colorado court system. That's what the FBI did to the FISA court when they illegally surveilled Donald Trump. And their co-conspirators the entire time have always been the mainstream media, because they have lobbied this insurrection narrative. They've utilized it to launch a special counsel baselessly, who hasn't charged Donald Trump with insurrection, by the way. And they've used it to enter the state court system because the rigged federal system won't even support their baseless insurrection narrative. And now they are just scraping at the bottom of the stained toilet to try to get Donald Trump turned over guilty in the court of public opinion, and it is going to fail.
Kash, they have a 92-page opinion at the district level. They have a 52 pages or something around there at the Supreme Court. So that's almost 350 pages. You were acting, I think, chief of staff at the Defense Department. You're a fact witness. You were there. There's not one mention of what you said in defense of Donald Trump, which is very compelling. Your thoughts, sir?
It's an intentional disinformation campaign. I was the first witness subpoenaed by the